We all die, so be prepared, for the sake of yourself and for the sake of everyone around you, for you send out consciousness throughout your life, and upon death, there is kind of a wave, and certain sensitive people can feel it. But what do we focus on during our daily lives? Most of the time, we are obsessed with gaining enough money to pay the bills, gaining enough money to make sure our family is okay, and these things aren't bad. And we are focused on making our life and continue our life in a comfortable way in this world. There is something we must prepare for that is beyond this world, that takes a lot more work, but also, even if you work on your spiritual path just a little bit, whatever spiritual path you find, it's better to have a progressed spiritual path upon death than to remain a novice in the spiritual streams that we find around us, whether it be Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, certain forms of agnosticism, certain forms of atheism that have ideas about consciousness, or Asatru, or Vodou. Whatever your stream is, try to follow along that stream. Try to catch fish, milestones along that stream, so that you are prepared for the journey ahead. Eventually, this stream, you're going to have to part ways with it. You're going to have to part ways with the land that you know so well and worked on for so long. And you're going to have to part ways with the people that you've known for so long. And once you reach that end of the stream, be sure that you have caught enough fish for the journey. You've achieved enough milestones to not only know where you're going, but have the resources that once you're there, once you achieve that crossing between life and death, to continue along your journey. Because for the vast majority of people, your journey doesn't end after death. It is just a different kind of journey we begin. No matter what religion or spiritual tradition you're a part of, even if you're completely Christian, just believe in heaven, that you're going to go there forever. I believe, this doesn't have to be your belief, I believe that once you get to heaven, you're still going to have to progress along the spiritual path towards getting rid of certain negative desires and fears, and really taking off the cloak of illusion that we kind of slowly put on over our soul in this material world. You're still going to have to go through a process of finding who your soul really is, outside of name, how much money you have, fame, all the things you cared about during life that are in relation to material. You're still going to have to work along your path even after the path in this world ends. So be progressed enough in whatever path that you choose to be able to pick up where you left off. Now, if you have no spiritual interests, no religious interests, if you're an atheist or agnostic, you made a decision that all of this is bogus, then this video is probably not for you. And I'm not saying that you'll definitely go to hell or anything like that, but your soul will have trouble tuning to a certain destination it needs to go to after death. And it's likely that you'll just be reincarnated very soon. Whereas a lot of people who follow a spiritual path, they may go to a place where they can learn more or experience the fruits of their good karma, or if they go to a lower realm, experience the punishment of their bad karma and return here. There are very definite attunements in different spiritual paths. I've seen where I'm going to go, but this is not somewhere where I believe everyone's going to go. It's all about your spiritual path. And I'm not saying that my spiritual path is superior, but I'm saying no matter what spiritual path you choose, if you don't just decide that all of it's BS, and you choose a spiritual path, progress and progress and progress. Progress in understanding and practice, and in exemplifying the virtues within your path. Now, if you have a vague idea of the spiritual path you want to choose, if you say, you know, I'm Christian, but I don't really go to church, I don't really pray, I don't really read the Bible, I don't really meditate like Jesus did, then you'll have a general attunement, but it's going to be really hard for you to cross over to that destination after death. So it's going to be very hard to kind of figure out how to get to that other dimension. So it's very important to learn as much as you can while you're here. Attune yourself beforehand to what you're shooting for in your spiritual path. The destination, God, if you are in a different path, God or Goddess. And ultimately, I'm trying to work my way back to God, the source of everything that we're all bits and pieces of, just trying to get back to infinity, in my understanding. But I know that it is very unlikely that I'll reach moksha, true liberation, in this lifetime. So I know that I'm going to go to a certain place to learn and to experience just light and love in a way that you can't in this material world. I'll go there for a time to learn, to get closer to the Divine Mother Kali Ma. I will exist as a light form, I've seen. I don't know if, I'm sure of this, but that doesn't mean that I'm correct. I could be completely insane, but I think that I have been given these visions of where I'm going to go, and I'm very certain about it. Once again, that doesn't mean that I'm correct, but I'm certain. And once I learn, once I sit in the Divine Mother's lap for a while, and this is more of an allegory than an actual, or a metaphor, than an actual literal sitting in the Divine Mother's lap, I will return here to continue my mission towards myself and my mission to help other people, which I've been trying to work on in this life and in recent years. Once I found my path, find what you think your purpose in the world is, and find your spiritual path. These two things, they correlate, but they're not always the exact same thing. It's not everybody's destiny to become a Christian monk if you're Christian. It's not everybody's destiny to become a Swami if you're Hindu. Sometimes we progress in our spiritual path and work in the world in a certain way, and we can transfer the compassion that we understand, that we try to embody, over to our life in the real world, and not in the real world, the material world. And for most of us, our path, our goal, is to have a spiritual path and working in the world. And it takes a lot of skill, but a lot of the time we're supposed to interweave these things. And it takes skill, it takes development, it takes effort. And this is what you're supposed to do in all spiritual paths, really. And ones that are not spiritual are really focused on power, but not power as in becoming a part of a power. More of power for oneself, one's idea of self, which is ego, for one's personal selfish use of the power, and that is the ultimate good. If you're on a path like that, we are dialectically opposed. Just look up dialectics if you're curious about that. But we're opposed. That doesn't mean that I feel conflict or hatred for somebody who believes differently than me, that is on the other side of this diagonal. But I do work to try and benefit other people, in the sense that I try to spread compassion, spread the ideas that aid compassion and logic and progress, spiritual strength along your path, no matter what path you're a part of. This is why a lot of my videos are very interwoven as far as spiritual beliefs go and spiritual applicability. And I am trying to do that to the best of my ability. But I still fall, I still fail quite often. Sometimes I drink too much. I still smoke. I've been pretty good about being vegetarian, but sometimes I'm lazy. Sometimes I don't progress along my spiritual path as much as I should. I'm not perfect by any means. I'm not a shining example. But I share my spiritual path with you so that you can help yourself be prepared for when you become somebody else, and also so that you can continue your journey with a quicker step. If I help you just a little bit on that, then I've succeeded. And I hope that the grand total of what I do in life is not negative for the world. And, one person can't do a whole bunch for the world or the universe. But if we do more good than we do negative, then we have helped the world along and everybody in it. So I think that we should all try to shoot for that. And voidism is the way that I will do it in even less specific way than my spiritual conversations on YouTube. Voidism is really about uniting all people regardless of if you believe in God or a spiritual path, but really uniting everybody behind compassion and a philosophy based on that. But I'll be describing that in future days. But hey, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about a spiritual path that you're on that I know something about, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. if you want to support me on Patreon. And with just $1 a month, I include video and text that you will not get on my YouTube channel. So it's at www.patreon.com/darkrealist. Capital D, capital R. And you can also look up Hunter Salazar on Patreon. You'll probably find me through that as well. If you want to support me with just $1 a month, I'd really appreciate it, because I'm just starting out the Patreon account. And if you want to shoot me a like and you want to subscribe, then welcome to the family. This is an interesting forum we got going here, but I am open to the vast majority of people out there, as long as you're not just a really terrible person. But hey, let's all do our part. Let's be prepared for when we die. But it's more than that. It's also about, we all die, so make progress in this life, and then make this one person you are now matter as much as possible, so that your soul will be that much further ahead in future lives. Thank you very much. You all have a great day.